Hello, how are you?
Mm, Pretty nicely. I got out from a lunch and now I'm setting this up in the right place. Yeah, should be there.
So
Okay.
you say you are living in Spain now? Am I correct?
No, not really. I mean, I'm spending some of my time at winter times here, but I still got the company and my place also in Finland. But well, nobody probably has missed the thing that I had some pretty hard times with depression and all the and darkness started to. Yeah, I got that low light syndrome, making
Yeah.
things worse too. So that's why I'm okay in the midwinter darkness if I have a goal for the day, like doing shows or something like that. But if I have to just stay there and without anything like proper to do, and at 3 o'clock it starts to get pitch black, then the rest of the day is kind of ruined for me. Everything is useless and gray, and it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, it's okay. What is normally the time when the sun comes up and then when it goes down again in the winter time?
Yeah.
7 or 10?
So yeah, in Finland, it's something like you get it up around 9, and then around 3 it goes down in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not enough for me, apparently. And it got worse and worse during the years. So I had already been figuring for about 5 years that should I get some kind of a southern base to put my operations at winter time.
So that's good then.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. Well, first of all, thank you for your time. First question I would like to start with before we go into the new album. I was just wondering, how do you look back on Pyre of the Black Heart? Was released in 2019, 2020. 2019, well, the Finnish album, and then in 2020, the English album.
Mhm.
It's been 5 years now. What are your thoughts on that album? What?
I still like it a lot. I think we managed to do musically, it's probably even more versatile than the new one. So for me, as a guy who grew up with classic Sabbath and Purple stuff, got into Pantera into '90s and all that in between, and also been listening to bands like Jethro Tull from prog side ever since I was 14 and all that. So for me, it was kind of natural to melt those things so much together, and also for the guys who I got in the band,
Yeah.
they've also like how would I say it? They are the road dogs of the long road, and so it kind of came naturally for us to start breaking the genre lines and putting in a lot of things that we just figured that this would fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still pretty proud of it. In case of Pyre of the Black Heart, yeah, and also for the thing to like translate the English lyrics to Finnish and Finnish to English, and then releasing the both versions of the album, full in Finnish, full in English. It was an ambitious thing, and I did it. But all this thing happened that simultaneously. I translated them crisscross from one language to another.
Yeah.
I think I had 6 in one language, 4 in one language. But it was a lot of work. And then you get a lot of people arguing about it, which version is better. So I don't see it as something that I'm going to be trying in the future again,
Okay.
because it seems to me that there's a point being missed. It's the accessibility to the story.
No, I was thinking because well, it was your first solo album, and I read somewhere that the songs were written up until 20 years ago.
Hmm?
How important was it for you as a songwriter to release that first proper solo album?
Yeah, pretty important. I mean, I had been just collecting material here and there and now and then, and given that one a really long road as well. But then it just felt like it was going to be a good timing to start doing it, which it actually wasn't.
Why?
Because, well, I thought that I'd be cheered up by the process of doing something on my own time and all that. It didn't happen because I was already, the whole depression and anxiety thing was heavily on. And what it ended up doing was that, for instance, we couldn't release the both language versions at the same time because I just couldn't work. That my guitar player, Thomas Väinölä, he had to pretty much whip me to the studio to finish the English versions and all that, because I was really in a bad way. And in that way, there are things that I probably would finish with more finesse in that album, but it's also a sign of its times.
Yeah.
And it's never a bad thing. Like I said, Pyre of the Black Heart, it was a thing that I was doing, aiming at to do and doing at the same time. And I managed to get over here on this side where things are better. And therefore it has a pretty good symbolic meaning for those times.
I mean, you living now in the winter times, you're living abroad in Spain. Was it directly linked to, well, like you were saying, your experience with it, with your previous album, with your solo album? Can you say it?
No, not in that way anyway. I mean, what I think is that it shows that sometimes you know things about yourself that you don't consciously acknowledge. Right. Maybe that way.
Okay. Well, there's another thing that you did in 2023, I think at 23, you started again with your brother, Tarja. Was that important for you to do? Play with Zachary again?
No, it just came as in a time when I was already, because my problems really got solved uncannily fast by finding the right people to talk to and getting the right diagnosis. So when the guys were asking me if we would do this traditional old farts rock in our old hometown, it was like, God damn it, I feel like it could be fun. I haven't felt like this in a long time. And then I just said, okay, let's get together and we can try things out by doing a charity show there with that old farts rock. And then we see there how is it fun or not. So it's kind of a safe way to check that out. Turned out that it was serious fun. And like already doing that second like charity show, because there were 2 shows in a row. But we were like watching each other at the stage and, God damn it, this fucking kicks ass. There's a hell of a punch. And like surprised and giddy at the same time ourselves. So then it ended up there, okay, let's do a few more comeback shows next summer and on some proper festival surroundings. And that we did, again, fun. But the band isn't really in a touring condition, mainly because of my brother. And that's he's practically like a home nurse for his wife, who got pretty badly invalidized back in the years. And so, and we live with that, so that if there are some nice shows to do, we can do that. And already agreed to get together next summer, because we're all going to be there at the old hometown. I'm going to be there getting to Finland side on sometime of the spring or the early summer. Stay there and go and sit down at the keyboardist studio and listen to some old hard disk material. That do we have stuff that we could actually start working onto with the goal to publish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So everything is in the air with that. Yeah. But it's like no commitments, but we're getting together to see that.
That sounds good. Well then, the songs that you wrote for Pyre of the Black Heart, I think they were lying around for many years. What was the condition of the songs with Roses from the Deep? Was it songs that you had lying around, or did you have to start from scratch?
Some I did start from a scratch, and some had ideas lying around. Like, for instance, the title, Roses from the Deep. That I had a demo version already back from even before Pyro the Black Heart. So it's over 5 years easily. I think that I put down the ideas, the first ideas for it around 2016, 17. So I had the lyric, I had the verses, but I didn't have the chorus that I figured that I would need something that would be kind of stadium proud and big, but not in a cheesy way. And that took a while, but I managed to get chords and the melodies in order. And then maybe they ended up being slightly even too weird, because then we had a really proper arrangement discussion with the guitar player and the keyboard player, and when we ended up in a really good compromise. I think it sounds really like a thing of its own.
What did you want, and what did he want, and what was the compromise?
Compromise was that I had some, let's say, movements between when you kind of, it's about how the bass line went with the chords and how much I was leaving like air for the bass to be straight and all that. And then, but in the inside, I think that when the guy said that maybe we could straighten out the bass to follow the chords in these places, and then it would be a little bit more easily understandable, which in hindsight is actually right. But then there was also one particular chord change that at first they wanted to skip it totally, but then kind of already by straightening those few bass lines, they started to get, okay, that's why this one moves there and the melody goes there. So yeah, we all got what we wanted out of it.
Sounds good. Well, we said this song you had laying around since 2016, but the album is also called Roses from the Deep. Was it something that you knew already that the album would gonna be called Roses from the Deep?
No, started working on the songs already in with the purpose of getting like at least 10 for an album. Started working on them already without getting that title, without title. And so that Roses from the Deep was something that I figured that might be nice for the title, but I just wanted to for the guys to be sure that it's not like too mellow or anything like that, to get the symbolism right. Yeah. And of course with the cover art now it's pretty clear. Like that, it's this about the stuff what you're as title and cover art, it's more about the stuff what comes from your subconscious and mind and blah 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 blah, and that just fits very much for the album itself, because it's got a lot of different songs, a lot of different ideas, and a few guys who have poured their passion and imagination into it. So yeah, it fits it.
What started the lyrics of Roses from the Deep?
It was just it was the chorus line itself that I kind of started to have rolling in my head, that never told you I would come for you, but you knew it anyway. And this is about a couple where the other one is a ghost. And yeah, that was the thing that made me write the thing.
And meaning to go someone who has passed away?
Yeah, it's a romantic ghost story.
A romantic ghost story. So okay. Well, you also have references to Frankenstein, to Horse, and to being left on Mars. So you had Roses from the Deep. What is another song that you wrote pretty early on that set the direction for the album?
Pretty early on, we had some pieces of Dragon Must Die, but for it to become a prog epic, it needed a pretty good going over. Where I have to say that band guys really came across, because we had some stuff done and demoed and all that, and the order of these, verse and chorus thingies and all that, and was already clear. We talked about it, that it could be a prog epic. And then I had to do something. I had to go away for some hours. When I came back, the guys had really done most of the work. They had put their heads together and, okay, let's go from this kind of, nice little ethnic melody into this kind of a gloom and doom. And when I came back there, I was like, fuck yeah, this works. Thank you, guys. So they do have their percentages also in the copyright for being co-authors.
And there's a line in there that corporate religions has grown. Is a song? What is the theme of the song? What is the dragon? Who is the dragon? What is the dragon?
Oh, there's plenty. That's why it has many heads. But I mean, let's see if it this way. Now we have Mr. Putin's war. What it does, it stops the green movement almost totally. Car dealers are getting back to gas. Russians have a shitload of oil to sell. So do other people and other countries all around the world.
Yeah.
Companies that usually lobby very heavily with right-wing extremist fear-mongering politics, which are also very much tied to organizations of religion, no matter where we are in the world, in which country, and with different religions. So, yeah, there's quite a many heads with the dragon that is meant to feed on you and your work and the back skin of your children.
Do you think that we have the possibility to kill at least a couple of heads of the dragon?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it would need for the people themselves to be facing the fact that they're also very purposefully, their education and ignorance are things that are that the political movements that are actually actively against, like education and knowing things, spreading information and all that. And of course, it's always easier to demonize if someone is somewhat unknown neighbor or from some minor sexual group or whatever. It's easy to demonize because you always get to win the bigger crowd from the so-called normals.
Yeah.
So I think that, demonizing professors, scientists, university students as part of an elitist movement is a very nice tactic for this particular dragon.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some. Well, you already mentioned the war in Ukraine. I think. Well, I don't know if it was the inspiration for Two Soldiers, but what was the inspiration for that song, Two Soldiers?
That actually is a lyric that came from Tuomas Väinö, the guitar player in the band. And I only checked a few lines to kind of get them more like, so that I would feel the flow from myself when singing it. And well, in this particular song and in a couple of others like Left on Mars, we also had Mr. James Lascelles from a prog metal band called Wheel. He's a native English speaker anyway, so we gave him a few essentials to check out, that we're not going to make ourselves look ridiculous. So Two Soldiers the lyric was written by Tuomas, and then I had the chorus and melody and chording and like the verse parts. Then the pre-chorus bridge stuff is somewhat mixed up and all that. And it ended up being a pretty good collaboration. And then since this is about a brotherhood of men, when you have to go kill some other brotherhoods of men, when you basically would want to live in peace in your place and have food on the table for your kids and wife. So there is a brotherhood there, and me and Mr. J.P. Leppäluoto have been having this kind of a brotherhood of the road for a long time. We've been really good friends for a long time. And in some cases, with some bad shit in our lives, like with alcohol, divorces, and whatever, we've lived almost parallel lives. So then Tuomas said that you could do this as a duet because you got that brotherhood. And it was like, yep, there's a lot of stuff that we could symbolically transfer to us. And it came out really nice. I love his low end because he's got a really deep and well resonating low end. And then I'm more on the higher and nasal side. And putting these harmonies together was like, oh yeah, man. Is this like, you know, being smug and too self-appreciative if you get like goosebumps from your own work, man?
Is it so the song isn't properly well based on, because there's a line that you sing that's just so much more. None can tell the heart of man when nation calls. I thought it had something to do with actually proper soldiers, but it's more like
it is that way, yeah. But it's for us. What I mean is that we got this symbolic level, which made us a good brothership to perform the song.
Yeah, good. Well, you already mentioned Left on Mars. What was it like for you to actually sing this song with Tarja?
Kind of easy. So we had this song at like a demo stage. And then originally I wrote it as being alienated. Yeah, this is a personal thingy. Put a little bit into sci-fi symbolism and pictures. But it was about being like a really alienated from everything. Then it has been a revelation to me also how that ADHD connect to the depression and all that. Okay, it means that you've been alienated from most of the people all your life. And when the depression and all those were worse, there was one person that stood by me, that even kind of mentally crossed to the side where I was, and was essential in bringing me out. And that was, of course, my wife. So it's a kind of a showing a serious respect to someone you love. That was the idea of the song. And but then Tuomas read it again, my guitar player. He's become my right hand, I think. Mm-hmm. He read the lyrics and said that this could be a duet also. And at the time, Tarja had already asked me that since we got the both of our bands at the Swiss festival, should I do a Phantom of the Opera together? I said already, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm excited. And at that moment, of course, it was a no-brainer. Duet for this. I got a write to Tarja. And then when we went to Spain, Switzerland to do the festival shows, we also brought her a USB stick containing already like a full-length demo of the song, where I had sang all the parts, except that for the parts that we meant for her to sing, our keyboard player got creative with AI and and transferred the notes and the syllables and bought like something like 13 euro female generic sound. And so we had already the demo where your basically musical roadmap is clear.
Yeah. Well, you said well, being diagnosed when you started out the interview. When were you diagnosed, and how did it help? Did everything fall into place for you in hindsight?
I'm still putting some pieces in places, and it's probably a process that will last for the rest of my life. But the way how, well, this was the thing that I had already been thinking of, simply just walking into the dark on the thin fall-time ice and disappear. So the depression was deep. The anxiety was such that I couldn't sleep at nights. I would wake up at the morning hours to really anxious, and possibly after some bad or even violent dreams, I can't remember anything of them. I just remember the vibe, and I don't want to remember it. Then when I kind of decided to leave everything and get this place in Spain and all that I need to find out that why nothing works, why doesn't therapy help? I talk my fucking ass out. Nothing helps. We switched from these meds to that, and blah blah blah. And you could be held maybe in place, but then you would continue downward. So I just came out of everything to find out if I am worthy to live, or if life is such a thing that I want to hold on to anymore. And when I was talking to one of the new psychiatrists, it was he who said that when he's listening to my things, is that it might be that you have ADHD. And I was like, what has ADHD to do anything with this? He said that he had been listening to me talk and how I handle things and all that. He sees it as a possibility that I should really take a neuropsychological test. And okay, so at the time I was in Spain, I arranged it here through a private sector to see a psychiatrist and get the tests and all that. And fuck yeah, I got it. And I really started to read up on it, and the whole thing started to become clear that yeah, there's they suspect that about 70% of ADHD people suffer from alienation, feelings of worthlessness, depression, and anxiety because of that worthlessness, and because you've never been good enough. And the evolutionary history of ours has made us social pack creatures. And when you feel all your life that there's something different in you, you start to feel that there's something wrong with you, because you cannot get the things the same way the other people do. They don't get why you do what you do oftentimes. And it's clear, because no matter how much you hide it or try to mirror the normal behavior, you're still suffering from things that you cannot handle. And then the whole like question of concentration, where you're actually helpless with the fact that you don't like some things and you cannot concentrate on them. Or then that you're totally like inattentive, you don't care about anybody else, because there's another side of that. It's the hyper show focus. And that's what causes a lot of people to think you're just constantly inattentive. You don't care about what other people think. It's not that. It's just that there's shit going on all the time. Yeah. That goddamn window handle over there, it has things to tell me. it's asking for me, and you're trying to talk. And there's also the anxiety.
And did you get proper medication, or was it just that the realization of ADHD and reading about it and
It's
that?
combination of all.
Yeah.
Like, you know that there are things in your history where you blame yourself, you acted wrong, you said things wrong, you should have kept your cool and all that, and you tend to blame yourself. And it is a relief to find out that, okay, in these cases, the last drop for my cup is, of course, has been way closer than it would for a normal, because I'm already my back against the walls by a billion worries or something like that. And so you're able to forgive yourself a lot of things, and you're also able to forgive quite a lot of people for not getting you and doing and saying things that have fucked you up. And then you kind of understand why.
Yeah.
What of their uncertainty, misunderstanding or fear made them do or say. Yeah, so that is a kind of a just knowing.
Yeah.
And then there's the medical thing. I was in the depression groove for a long while, so I got like a 1 depression med left so that I don't slip back into that slope downwards. And then I just started taking ADHD medicines. And already within 3 weeks, I was wandering around at the backyard that there's something weird. I feel weird, something's wrong. And it was because I was feeling like inner emptiness. And I kind of, okay, I'm not worried about everything at the same time. I'm not anxious. And I don't recognize it because I've been anxious for years. This is goddamn great.
And did it also, during the recording of this album, I mean, yeah, we have to stop. Last question. During the recording of this album, was it, did you have, like you were saying, that it was great and you didn't feel the anxiety and the depression? Was it during the recording of this album too? Was it started your climb upwards started prior to the recording of the album?
Yeah, it was more like that. I started to getting myself together. Like I said, that it had this new diagnosis and the med change and all that, it happened in the first year that I was here in Spain. And it had a lot of effect. I still had a fight, a lot of just basic fear of getting back on stage, which I did then with Northern Kings in Finland, the summertime. But I did that, and because I knew that it's just a kind of a, threshold. I go over it to the other side, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's always been fine. Got there, got confirmed. And after that, it was easy again. And then, yeah, I started writing again, which is, of course, probably a result that I was sleeping good again. My imagination and intellect started to work. Yeah, I started writing again and had a few ideas floating around. And then the guys, again from Finland, hey, COVID's over and we got some festivals lined up. Should we start doing some album stuff? Hey, guys, I got ideas. I'm going to record a few and send over. So that springtime also ended up, we sent it left on Mars to Tarja, got together to have a song camp and did like almost everything for Roses from the Deep, putting all the song ideas and demos and everything together. And then I think we got an album. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, life is persistent. Good.
Last question. When did you move to Spain?
Let me think. When did we get this place? Was it 2020 or 21? Because this is the problem, that coming out of the serious depression bout and that kind of a mental trouble, it actually, because the thinking itself is painful. it only brings you bad shit. You start to get your brain in a defensive mode and it starts to destroy its memory by itself. Yeah, from the winters like 17, 18, I hardly remember anything. But I think, yeah, we started talking to the guys here about getting a place in 2020.
Okay. Well, it looks like you've been in an upward spiral since then. So the last 4 or 5 years is getting better.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. Thank you for your time, Marko.
No worries. Thank you.